We want to start off with a reminder that we are not doctors. Before you make any changes or try something new, always consult with your doctor and medical team first. Chronic illness can vary from patient to patient, so it's always best to consult with your own doctor for what is best for you.
Welcome back to IBDetermined. I'm your host, Mason Harvey, and I speak from the role of a patient, and I have Crohn's disease.
And I'm your other co-host, Michelle Harvey. I am Mason's mom, and I speak in the role of a caregiver. Today, we're interrupting we've been doing that series on like biologics and things we've been talking about with those, but we're interrupting that because it's a very important
episode.
Mm-hmm. And it is
almost my birthday.
Yeah, it is.
It's funny how
probably more important than the episode.
Yeah,
but
it's funny though how the number episode just so happened to line up with my birthday.
Yeah. So. And, obviously when we start filming this, it's not like we're like, this is going to work out.
To be,
yeah. So today's episode is the 100th episode. And that's, I'm hoping you guys probably out there are like, wow, 100 episodes. And not like,
I paused it for 5.
I know. Oh, they made 100 episodes? I only thought they made a couple.
That's funny.
But yeah, we'd love to waste our time and just talk to ourselves.
I don't think it's a waste of time. But...
No, not at all. Being here with 100 episodes now officially is a big deal because when we started this, I don't even think we never had like a goal. Like, let's reach this many episodes. It was like, let's do this.
Do some, we didn't have like a main goal.
Except for like, we had a schedule.
Yeah, the goal was a schedule. You got to record at least once every 2 weeks. In the beginning, it was once every week.
It was not, for 1 year. So the goal was, because, and it's not like, we said we have goals, but as far as like for the podcast future, but we knew that we wanted to put out something every week for the first year, if we could make it a year, because it was important to us. And then after that, the deal was like, if we continue, we'll go every 2 weeks. And I think that was a smart deal on our end, because I think you need to be realistic. If we had planned to do this, continue doing this once a week,
with college especially, it's
but we probably wouldn't have continued.
Yeah, I
think we would have burnt out. Probably. And so I think it was important to have a realistic goal that we could maintain. And from a lot of your perspectives, you're probably thinking, you record, make a video every 2 weeks. It's not that difficult to do it once a week, but it actually is.
A lot of editing.
As at least.
So something that is, okay, there's definitely other people who do this, but they're video makers, they sit down, they make a video. The amount of research that is put into all these videos, finding sites, making sure they're credible, finding information that is relevant, that is new, that is current, not just older, sources that aren't relevant anymore. Yeah. But there's so much research that goes into it. And then after that, the video has to be edited, which takes you about 3 days.
So I'd say it's like a 3-day process, start to finish, doing the research, recording, and editing. It could actually take longer than that if I let myself do that. But since I'm doing the editing, and Mason is learning how to edit too. And so that'll be very helpful too. But right now his focus is getting through his college classes and doing this as like a job. In a lot of ways it is. It's a non-paid, a volunteer job. I think that you're right though too, that this is a lot of work. Yeah. We don't have an editor. We don't have somebody who is setting things up. We have to research the equipment. We have to research just everything that goes into it. And when there's a technical issue, that's us. It's not like,
one episode, I forget. It was probably one of our newer, newer, one of our oldest, not oldest, but in the beginning when we were doing every week, There was one time we did a video. It was like an hour and 30 minutes long. Yeah. And there was another time the Wi-Fi went out in the middle of the recording. So everything got deleted. So you have to restart it. But then the other one, for some reason, the recording didn't get saved. And so then we had to record that one.
That was bad.
So that was fun.
Yeah. And so kind of like Mason mentioned just now, like when we record these, sometimes, we decide to do like a 35-minute, 40-minute recording. Sometimes we just let ourselves talk until we're done because it's like that's the point, is just to talk about everything we need to talk about. You might see, we have to edit it down because I don't want to make a podcast that is an hour and a half long.
It's like blah blah blah.
Yeah, and it's nice we get off topic or do whatever, or so it's like, okay, we have to edit these down. So
to make it reasonable, we're talking about title of the episode. We're not talking about random
spiders
like we just came up with in the middle of the episode.
Jumping spiders.
Yeah, well, they want to hear about their jumping spiders.
But there's a lot that goes into this that sometimes you don't see, you don't hear. There's a lot behind the scenes, and so you 3 days out of 14 in 2 weeks, it doesn't seem like that much, but there are all those days. Like, I have a regular job. I also do volunteer work. We have our business, the family business together, and then Mason has college. So we also have hospital appointments, and you guys know this. And then trying to just like live a life and have fun and do things too. And so it is quite a bit
harder than it sounds,
but it's worth it. So that's why we figured 2 weeks we could do. Once every 2 weeks we can keep up with that. And I think
also
that's
makes
fair.
You guys anticipate it more, because I'm sure you're, after you watch a video of ours, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the week after this week because there's going to be another video. I'm so excited.
And so like the very first, so I wrote this down because I thought this was pretty interesting. Our very first podcast episode was July 13th, 2023. And so it's almost 3 years ago. Mason was 14 years old at the time. Now he's turning 17. I don't think, when you're 14 doing this, I didn't thinking be here at 17.
No.
Yeah. And it was the first episodes, if I'm sure, and I know you guys watch them because I looked up our top 5 episodes, and episode 1 is number 2.
It's very odd.
Watched. And I think that's, I don't think it's odd. I think it's like people want to see its introduction to IBDetermined.
See the history of it.
Yeah. And so people are like, well, let's start at episode 1.
It's all in another room and everything.
Yeah, it was very, we were still putting things together, still trying to figure it out because we weren't sure like how it was all going to work out. So it's not like we wanted to commit to everything yet. We're like, let's,
well, let's try it first.
And it was weird. I think at first trying to like talk like
at first it was like, oh yeah, we're talking to the camera because that's normal.
Right. Yeah. And having a conversation. It was
back and forth.
It was weird. It wasn't, it's not something we're like, that's not like us, but we did it. We, and so Mason has like grown up a little bit on here with you guys. And I know your voice is different. And I keep that. So in the intro and the outro, I do keep the original that we filmed that first episode, because I think it's kind of interesting to hear, when we sign off and then you hear Mason's voice, it's interesting. So I do keep that. I have kept that. I looked up the top 5 episodes. So I was just, I thought this was interesting. So you'll be hearing these too, since you didn't see when I did this. But the number 1 watched episode is learning about JAK inhibitors, like Rinvoq.
That's the first one?
Yeah, that's number 1. And I think that shows there's been a shift though. When we first started this, JAK inhibitors were relatively new. So I think
maybe we were one of the only YouTubers that really covered those.
Sure we were. Of course. No, but don't look up anybody else who might have covered that. They did.
I mean, at the time, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's interesting, though. I did not expect that.
Yeah. So that is interesting that's number 1. And the second episode that's most watched was Introduction to IBDetermined, where we introduced ourselves. And next up was episode 2, What is Crohn's disease? Which I think is fair for IBDetermined. I want to come back to that one in a second. So we're going to come back to that because I think that's interesting. And the 4th most watched was to learn about the differences between Stellaris, Skyrizi, and Tremfya. So again, and those are newer. And then the next one is the basics of biologics and the different classes of biologics. And so again, so all these kind of tie in, like people want to learn more about the treatments and the options.
I'm surprised that the Disney one isn't on here.
So interestingly enough, on YouTube, Disney has way more views than any of our other podcasts. So,
but that's
on YouTube. Yes.
Okay. Specifically YouTube.
Yeah. And so
this is all around.
Right. So this is podcasts. Like this is what's on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify. this is pulling all of those.
If you're on YouTube, you should upload Disney stuff. If you're on anything else.
It makes sense because people who go Disney don't care about listening to IBDetermined on a podcast. People go on YouTube to search about the DASP DAS, the DAS, the DAS pass for Disney. And so when they search art, we pop up. So those are not people who listen to us all the time. No. That's why it gets so many views, is people were just interested in the topic of that episode.
And they're like, oh yeah, I want to watch about JAK inhibitors after watching Disney.
And I think more of our podcast listeners listen continually. They subscribe, they follow, they have IBD, know someone with IBD. It's a little different.
Yeah, and that makes them more attached to it, and they want to keep coming back and learning more about it.
And so I said I was going to come back to what is Crohn's disease, which was our third most watched episode out of all of our 100. Well, 99 at the time. So when we were just talking about this today, we were talking about what we're going to talk about. And I was thinking how much, what we'll probably do in the future is maybe go over this again. Because when we talked about that, it was 3 years ago. A lot has changed.
A lot has changed.
Maybe even your viewpoints, our understanding of it has changed. And I think, you've probably learned a lot from the podcast.
Definitely.
Right? I think when we started this,
own creation. It's funny.
And I've learned too. When we started it, it was like it was a little bit different mindset. And with everything we've learned and talking about Crohn's disease now, I probably approach it from a much different angle. So we may have to rewatch it and then comment on our original
the new podcast episode might just have to be what is Crohn's disease is.
Yeah. Now we understand
a lot more than we did.
Yeah. And that's pretty cool because we've had a chance to meet more people, talk with more people along the way, and get more expert opinions on this disease.
Because back then there was not only less research going on, there's a lot more being solved too. I mean, we have a lot more biologic companies popping up. They're all doing research. And with that research comes more research with the disease itself.
Yeah, it does.
There's a lot more going on.
Definitely.
So what is Crohn's disease is definitely going to look a little bit more different.
Right.
I feel like the base of the episode might remain the same.
Yes, there's going to be certain things that will stay the same. Our opinions might have changed a little bit. And we have more input. So I think that'd be cool. The app most used to listen to us was Apple Podcasts. So if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, you guys are our number one listeners.
You get the trophy.
But it's pretty neat because what is cool to see too is that it breaks it down, like it'll show you a world map and it shows you where your listeners are.
Oh, this is actually really interesting.
And so 74% of our listeners, that's 3 out of 4, are in the United States.
That's amazing.
1 out of 4 lives around the world. And it's incredible to see. I couldn't even put them all down. I was scrolling through the list of cities where people listen, and it was all the different countries. I'm amazed. It's truly, it's very neat to see. And
so much support.
Yeah. And I appreciate that people are taking the time to learn, to listen, and to follow Mason's journey. And if you've listened this far, this isn't going to be a super long podcast today because we just really wanted to thank everybody for listening and
for pushing us and helping us through the journey, and showing us that you're interested.
Yeah, it means a lot, and I hope that you've been able to use this as some kind of support, or maybe just like a friendship, and enjoy listening. Maybe you've been able to support somebody better because you've watched it
and learn more.
Yeah, I think that's been the goal because again, we're not monetized. We don't make any money for any of this. We
don't make any money.
No, it costs us money.
Yeah.
My husband reminds me of that regularly. My good choices.
Good choices.
And but it's not, there's different options we could do to charge. But one of the things that was so important to me is that there was access for people anywhere to listen. Nothing you have to pay for.
If you want to learn more about Crohn's disease, give us money.
Right. I know. Buy us a cup of coffee.
Buy us a cup of coffee.
I know some people that's how they make their living.
Yeah.
This is not how we make how I make my living, and it's not going to be how Mason makes his living unless there's something that changes in our lives and it like became that an option like that. But the goal has always been to just support and help you guys out there, and that's what we're still trying to do, as long as you guys will listen to us and enjoy hearing from us.
I think what a cool idea would be, there's a new term, pay to win, where if you make people pay for a certain content, it's something that is not something you need to know, but like, fun to know it anyways. Like, here's a picture of a facility or inside the blood bank,
or like the Disney bloggers,
Disney bloggers, but you could just have less important stuff and more just for enjoying. Because if you have a disease, like Crohn's disease, and you're trying to learn more about it, you shouldn't have to pay more to learn about yourself.
Paying enough.
Yeah, you're paying enough as is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think we should make you guys pay.
No, that's the goal, is to keep doing this. It would be nice to know still, like, what you guys would help, like what would help you guys the most. And that's, that sort of thing. So for us, 100 episodes is a big deal.
Definitely. I thought like, well, do we have a 50?
We did have, I think we did. We had an episode where we're like, whoa, and we made it to 50. And at the time that seemed like,
wow, and now we double that.
Yeah. And
there might be in the future 200.
I know it's hard to say, because as Mason grows up, I mean, we started this when he was 14, and
let's see, if I'm 14, I'm going to be 17 now. It's going to be 100th episode. That would mean that the 200th episode would probably be, let's see,
you're like 20.
Yeah, well, I don't want to think about that.
I don't do that kind of math. As you start getting older, the math is not as fun.
Yeah, when it comes to
like, oh my gosh, I don't need to hear that either. I'm like, let's not speed it up. So I'm having a hard enough time with 17. It's all good. It's good. It's just, it is crazy how fast time flies.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember I was young, because there's less stuff to focus on and less stuff you're doing, like whereas college and your disease and going into the hospital and a bunch of classes and a bunch of stuff going on. But when you're a little kid and you're just waiting, an hour feels like forever for something. Like, oh, when's dinner? Oh, it's in an hour. Right. Oh my gosh, an hour. But now it's like an hour. Whoosh. Oh my gosh, I need 2 hours.
It does. And we just did yesterday, we had a fundraiser in our driveway, and so we invited people to come make at least a minimum of $5 donation, and they could pick a free homemade treat and drink. And so we were baking, cooking, doing all that stuff and getting ready for it, and to raise money for the His Take Steps walk. And that's fun. Yeah. And so it was a good time. It was nice to see people and stop by.
We stood out there for 3 hours and it felt like 15 minutes.
It did, but it was worth it. It was worth it. And we needed to do that because we kind of needed a way to say thank you to people in person and be appreciative. And so
the rules with our stand, the Good Karma stand, when we hand out treats and stuff, is that it all has to be homemade. So everything is homemade, and that might seem amazing. It is. It definitely is. She's a cooking
head baker over here. Yeah.
But the thing is, anyone can go to the store and buy cookies. That's a nice thing. Handing out cookies from the store, it shows you appreciate a person.
Yeah.
But when someone donates money to help you and your disease and everyone with this disease, because they just want to make an impact and help you and everybody else, there's just a whole different feeling of appreciation when you make your own stuff. It's not just, oh, I went to the store, got some of these, here, have some.
Yeah.
It's, I put time, I put love, I put
a lot of days, effort.
Effort into all of this, and you can have this because it means a lot to me, and that just makes it feel a lot more personal and appreciative.
Glad we're able to do that. And so I guess if you've listened this long, we're going to reward you guys who've listened and make an announcement here that is a big deal.
Yeah.
And we have not told a lot of people.
It's been toppling basically everything else, such as the Karmitude clips, which, if you guys remember that, that is still an idea.
And so that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because the Karmitude clips were in the back of our minds. This other project has always been there, but it needed to be the right time. And the Karmitude clips came about, and we're still doing that, and we're still making them, but it had to take a back seat because this other project needed to happen.
This wasn't even the front seat, it was the engine.
Right. And because it's been something, and we needed, but Mason had not completed enough of his journey yet to start the project, and we needed to go through it. Yeah, we needed that to get to it. And so I'll let you tell them. You might have already guessed.
Yeah, you probably have already guessed.
So we said Karmitude clips are still in there, but right now it's just riding in the back seat. It's
still there. He's just waiting to get to his destination.
But the engine,
the full and everything is not your average. We have another book.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you yet, but it's not your average in that line. Another book. It's going to be in the not your average line of children's books, and so we published.
There's also that, because there's so much going on, such as college and illustrating.
And the difference is, so when we wrote Not Your Average Slice of Pizza, that took a little bit of time too, because it was Mason's story. We're not just like writing fiction.
Yeah, it's not like, Reggie went to the store and
Yeah.
he had a great day. He
Right.
got a new car.
It's a little different. It's
No,
like you're trying to create a story about real life. And so you're writing in a way where it's not like we're like literally detailing Mason's life. With this next book,
Yeah.
we also needed to have a few years. Other people had asked us, when are you going to do it?
I said, well, we need some time. You know, I had 12, 11 years for the other book.
Mhm.
So
plus the 2 years with the disease.
Plus the 2 years with disease, yeah.
To create that.
We need
story.
a little bit more time to create another genuine and honest and
right.
meaningful book, you know, because anyone can write words in a book. And that's,
yeah.
You know, that's
or AI words.
Or AI words, yeah. Anyone can do that in 5 seconds. But
yeah.
AI is not using our book. So
yeah.
There's a lot more meaning and personal, it's not personal, but a lot more humanity in it because there's just more. It's my life. It wasn't just written to be read.
Right.
It's just
and I think what's cool though, what's really cool is what you've done is book worthy, like is story worthy. And it in itself, you don't have to probably know that this is Mason's own story to be entertained. That's what's really cool about this book. You don't have to know Mason. You don't have to know, none of that. You don't have to know any of that to enjoy the book. But for those of you that understand for the importance for us to make this real, because I want every kid who reads these books to understand that they can hope and they can dream and they can do things. And so it's very important that what we put in there, I mean, Mason is not a piece of pizza, obviously. So
might be, you never know. I could be a piece of pizza.
So parts of it are going to be, like a children's book. And that's the cool part of it. But the stories behind it are very real. And I think that is very important because we're not just in this. This was never a money maker, like trying to publish some bestseller. It's nothing like that. And
specifically meant for helping people and making them realize that there is a bright side, a positive, silver lining for them. They're not alone. There's somebody out there.
Yeah.
Because I remember was I diagnosed in the hospital. I was like, "What's Crohn's disease? Am I the only person with this?"
Like I must be the only kid because I've never heard
And so you create this book and makes kids realize that they're not alone in this. And it's so nice because we actually get to see feedback in person.
Yeah.
Because there was I probably told you, but there's a long time in an episode. When we're at the infusion center, there was a little girl there, and I was in the waiting room because I have a stuffed Reggie for my book because I take my stuffed animals to the infusion center.
Yeah, but she recognized.
She's like, "Hey, that's from the book," and I'm like, "Oh." So it's really cool that you get to see that it's not just like the hospital's like, "Oh yeah, we'll take it," and but the kids are actually reading it. They're actually enjoying it, and they're taking.
And I get messages from people who send me pictures of their child reading the book. And those
are very cool.
Someone was like, "Look at this! Like it is
somebody's
so cool.
Enjoying our creation."
It's the best feeling to think that if someone is reading this and what they're gaining from it, however it's helping them, however they're enjoying it, and it doesn't even have to help. It could just be something they enjoy to read about. But that's the coolest part of this book is that you don't have to be sick. You can be sick. You can know someone who's going through something difficult. That's what's so cool about it. It can be for anybody like that. And so we're not going to tell you anymore because we're going to do a whole episode on it. We are only probably telling you guys now because we've been working on it since September officially. It's been on our minds longer, but the actual, pen to paper and colored pencil to paper started around in September. And
it's certainly taken a long time.
For Mason.
Well...
Yes, but we'll talk more about that in another episode.
No.
He's so tired of drawing.
The other one only took how many
6 weeks?
6 weeks, yeah. And that was its own class.
Well, you were in a Pixar class, so we
I
had everything. We had everything.
In this one, college is there. You're going to the hospital a lot.
So there's that. And so it's a balance between me saying, okay, you've done this. We've done these events. We're doing our fundraising. We're doing, by the way. So, it had to be important enough to Mason though. It can't be just me saying hey, I need you to do this. It's his story. It's not just me telling it over here. That's not,
and also the other thing that took me a long time with it, because it's something that stressed me out after creating the first book, was that the first book had its own character and its own style. And one thing that I don't like about books is when a character is completely different. because it feels like it's not the same character. So I kept redrawing stuff because I wanted him to keep the same energy. And I'm confident that they keep the same energy.
But it's important. Again, our books are more realistic. We're not keeping a character constantly in 8th grade. We'll see if we continue with it. But at least now we have, this will be a second book. And the cool thing is it'll be offered in paperback and hardback. So we're going to have 2 options. So we'll let you guys know. It's not going to be, it'll probably be the summertime.
Average year.
Yeah, exactly.
That was poorly put together. But
so we thought, hey, let's take the 100th episode and announce something that is super important to us, because the first book was super important, but this is like, Reggie sits.
He's kind of pulled up. I don't know why.
It's our paper for our Reggie project too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool accomplishment, because it's something we always want to do, and it feels great to be able to continue the story.
Definitely.
And keep going. So that's kind of, so that's for listening. I don't know if that felt like a reward, or if you're like, I wish they would talk about something else, but that's about it. Because we're having, so like we said, it's his birthday this week. We are going to be pretty busy with that. So today is another day of trying to let him get some work out of the way and do that. And that way he can celebrate.
It's so fun when you try to get a few weeks ahead, and then your assignments don't get posted, and they get posted late.
Depends. Some teachers post, they post the entire semester on there, so you can kind of do it whenever you want. Other ones are like beginning of each week, and so you can't get ahead. And when we have hospital appointments, and it's very difficult.
It is.
So I feel bad. I'm like, so we don't have hospital this week, but
you try to go to the hospital, and it's the injection one, and the injection one isn't too bad. But it's like a 4-hour drive sometimes. It's traffic. And when you get home, car drives are exhausting. And so you get home and you're like, and then with infusions, Benadryl hits hard. So you're tired for the rest of the day. And so it's nice to get ahead. And sometimes it falls back, but gotta work through it, right?
So
perseverance.
So we have hopefully we'll have a good week. We can celebrate his birthday and do all that. And it was busy this weekend with the fundraiser, which was good. And so now I'm like, let's just
better busy than being all empty.
I think every time we're probably doing every podcast right. It's like, we've been really busy. Everybody's busy. We get that. So hopefully you guys keep listening. And if you've been here with us since day one, thank you so much.
Yes, we really
for that.
Appreciate it.
It's amazing.
You deserve a medal for sticking with us all that.
Oh my gosh. They deserve a medal.
Well, no, our shows aren't really that miserable, are they? I didn't mean it like that.
Like a trophy?
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I don't even think like a gold medal. There you go.
You were forced to watch this.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But congratulations on finding us so early.
Yeah, right. And if you found us later on and you're just catching up, and maybe you're not even here yet and you're listening and starting at the beginning, great. Can't wait for you to meet us here in the future and see what's going on. And maybe we will revisit a few of those episodes and see how life has changed, opinions have changed, medicine has changed. That's what's so interesting with this disease is we actually have now a time marker to look back and see what is different. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty neat. So,
it's always changing.
So anyways, happy 100th episode.
Yes, happy 100th episode. You get an imaginary medal or trophy. Or
thank you for celebrating with us.
Proud of music. No, it's not going to work.
So, with that, guys, keep listening to us on our podcast stations like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and if we're still recording. We've been recording since beginning videos. So if you want to see us.
Watch us. Yeah, if you want to be watching us right now and see Reggie, because Reggie was in here.
Reggie made an appearance day. Yeah, Reggie's always behind us.
and he's always.
But we always have, we always have Reggie around.
If you want to see that, there's also YouTube. And if you want to, there's also YouTube podcasts, but if you're on YouTube, you're probably here to watch videos. But if you are on YouTube, make sure to give us a like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified every time we post a new video, make sure to hit the bell icon. And make sure to leave comments.
Yeah.
Have we got any comments recently?
No, it's been slow, but it's all right, guys. We know you're listening.
Tell us
See
how
out
much you
there.
suffered watching all 100 of our episodes.
Yeah. Please feel free to.
Are you hyped over the book?
Let us know what you'd like after we finish our little series. It's just a couple more episodes, but after that, let us know what you'd like us to talk about next.
Yeah.
And
having a good day.
Yeah.
What brought you here today?
We do have people who want to be on the show. So that is also something we don't talk about a lot because it's really hard for us to get our act together because
we always say we're gonna do it this season.
And I'm like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. I think what's important to me is Mason's better at speaking than I am in a lot of ways with things. And I want to make sure if I'm going to if I'm going to interview somebody, I want to have we've tried good questions.
Good questions,
right? I don't want someone to be like, hey, what'd you do today?
Yeah, did you eat cereal? What's your favorite color?
Like I want to invest time into each guest and make sure that we're getting something that's worth their time and your time. And so
meaning into it, put thought into it, put appreciation into it. Just some simple questions, because you can always ask a question, but because it's the right question.
I mean, I'd love to have some of the people on here and just be like, hey, like catch up, but we're here to have a podcast. And so hopefully, it's hopefully soon here, we'll have time to get organized so we can have the people who want to be on here and we'd love to have on here. Get them here.
That would be very cool.
Yeah. So
we're going to say that's coming soon again.
Yeah. So that is another goal. I mean, we've met a lot of our goals already, but that's a big one.
Yep. That's a big goal.
So anyways, guys, well, happy birthday to Mason.
Anyone else who's having a birthday?
Yeah. Let us know if you're sharing a birthday with Mason. So you're going to be this week too. So yeah. And we will update you guys next time how it went and then restart our series on biologics. So thank you guys for listening.
Yep. And have a good rest of your 2 weeks.
Happy we see you again.
If you're having that. Enjoy the anticipation for the new episode and book. Have a good day.
All right. We'll see you here in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you will stick around, tune in, and reach out to us with your own journeys. We are excited to give you an inside view of what it takes to be a caregiver and what it's like to be a patient.
And most of all, we hope you'll maybe be able to play something you hear on here that might help you in your own life. Sometimes life changes, and it's all about how you handle the journey.